Oh, my keyboard. Oof.
Yeah, because Black Widow keyboards would have been one of the ones I would have went for. Right, we are live now. I've put up a little chat in the Discord so that people can come join and get the show on the road. So hello everyone. As everyone knows, I am Sam, also known as Goku76 on Twitch. To my left we do have Anis, and below we have a frozen Tass. Oh no, he's back now.
Hello. No, I was just stoically still.
So what we're doing this episode is we're going to go talk about One Piece generally, and we're going to go through a couple of different topics, generally talking about different ideas and theories that we always just come up with and message each other on a regular basis. Thought it would be a fun idea to do as a podcast on a more regular weekly basis for everyone. So
fingers crossed people like it, and don't hesitate to throw questions at us.
Absolutely, feel free. Throw questions.
And call us out if we're wrong.
Exactly.
Especially me.
Absolutely. So what we're going to talk about this week is a couple of different topics, starting with when we first got into One Piece. So starting with Anis, when was the first time you got into One Piece and what got you hooked?
Time watching it was sort of a natural progression from watching other animes. Like, I was watching, like, hang on, let me just check, look at the diary. I was watching things like Chobits, Shikugan no Shana, and a couple of other bits, and then from that somebody else told me about One Piece. So I got started on that, and then after watching about 5 episodes, it was just like, okay, this is interesting. I'm going to carry on with this, and then lo and behold, about 500 episodes later, it was, I'm still watching.
Always good when time flies with this. What about you, Tass? Yeah. When do you get into One Piece?
About 12 years ago, I reckon. It was my friend Chris who actually got me into it. He came around and was like, oh, you need to watch this. He's like, oh, it's about a guy who can stretch. And I was like, oh, like Mr. Fantastic. He was like, no, better. And I was like, yeah, you're not doing a good job of selling this for me. So I put it off and put it off and put it off for months. And one day he just turned up with the DVD. And it was when he was fighting Crocodile, Arabasta, when the first episodes I watched, and he showed me it. I was like, oh. And I was like, how far into it's this? He was like, oh, something like 100 episodes or something, I think it was. I don't even know if it was that many. But I was like, all right, I'll watch this. I'll catch it up. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I remember saying to him when I was like, that's a lot of episodes. And then by the time I'd caught up, I was like, there's not enough episodes.
And now you're looking at it now going, that's a lot of episodes. Yeah. We're on like 800.
And now I'm like, episode 967 or something, is it out now?
I just come out today.
I look at it now and I just go, how can I start this again? With work and everything else going on in my life, how can I possibly have enough time to re-watch this?
I'm trying to get the missus to rewatch it, but she said she's not doing it again until it's finished.
That's going to be another 20 years, hopefully.
Who knows with order.
Once the kids have kids.
Yeah, it'll be that way. What about you then, Sam?
I started watching it back when it was on Cartoon Network and Toonami. I watched the odd episode, but not in any order. And obviously,
I remember that.
Once they stopped showing it on TV with Dragon Ball and all the other animes that were on there, and like Gundam Wing and everything, I kind of come out of it. And then like Naruto got me back in anime Comic-Con. That's where I met Tass, and then literally went around his house, played games, watched anime. He's like, One Piece has come out, and we need to watch it. It's a tradition on a Sunday just to watch it. Came round. Yeah. And it was Luffy fighting Dora guy. I can't remember his name. What's he called?
Noro. The slow Gaji.
No, the door guy.
Oh, Bluno.
Bluno, that's it. When he was fighting him,
CP9.
and that just like I said, watching the Gear 2nd and Gear 3rd, I was like, I'm sure I've seen this anime. And then just kind of went, this is One Piece, I remember this. And he was like, yeah, it's brilliant. He was like, have you ever watched it? I was like, yeah, I watched a couple here and there, and then just instantly binge watched it over that couple of months, just literally non-stop binge watching on my days off, and never regretted it since. As soon as I caught up with the anime, manga straight in, and I've never looked back. So that's when I got back into it. Going on that though, from One Piece, now looking back at it, how many times have any of you rewatched it? Just curious, because we mentioned about it.
Yeah.
Right, well, I'll go first because I'm actually in the middle of rewatching it myself now.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is the third time, but last time I rewatched it was just after time skip.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the skip for 2 years. I rewatched it again up until time skip,
Yeah.
and now that we're at Wano, I think it was maybe. I've had a lot of time during lockdown,
I think a lot of us.
so I try. That's why I know my wife won't watch it again, because I asked her to, and she just said, "No, just go sit on a chair over there and watch it."
It's just like,
So I'm currently technically
Go on,
rewatching it through the third time now, but it's only the second time
mm-hmm.
to the part I'm up to. I'm up to like, I think 602 Punk Hazard,
Yeah.
give or take.
Because I know, like I said, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say, like, for me, I haven't actually properly rewatched it. I watched it up to Punk Hazard. Then I struggled to be able to, there were obviously things like Crunchyroll, Funimation, these things weren't available to me at the time. So it got up to that point and it was just like, right, I can't watch it. So I ended up reading the manga. Now Crunchyroll has it. I've seen episode 1.
Yeah, and by the time you've caught up to where Crunchyroll's got, you still won't be able to watch Punk Hazard.
Yeah, exactly.
By the time you catch up on those episodes, it might actually come up.
Yeah,
Never.
I thought that.
I mean, at my current watching of about one every 6 months, yeah, it probably will be.
I mean, I know I've kind of rewatched it, I'd say about 4 times, not all the way through. I got to certain points with certain people, like obviously exes and other people who've been interested in watching it and getting into it. And then, because I'm already up to date, I've caught up to it, like Alabasta, I've watched that like 3-4 times alone. Marineford, I've seen that like 6 or 7 times. Different arcs that I go back to just watching because I enjoy them. But going from episode 1 all the way up to Arabasta, I've watched it at least 3 times. And that's when people have then gone, right, I can't wait on a weekly basis, and then gone and binge watched it, and they've gone on their own track and went, I'm up to this episode, I'm all so excited, and then it just goes on from there for me.
While we're on the topic, when you've rewatched it, right, are you guys aware of Panda Man?
No.
Panda Man, right, is a little Easter egg that's only in the anime, and it's just a gadget with a panda's head.
Right.
Just randomly put about in the anime. Mm-hmm. It'll just be in like one frame or one little scene.
So kind of like the aliens in South Park.
Yeah, exactly like the aliens in South Park. That was going to be my melody, yeah. And I think it's in the very first episode. If you watch the starting sequence for that,
mm-hmm.
you know when it cuts through a little scene of Luffy fighting a Lord and then Zoro fighting a Lord and Sanji fighting a group.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The group Zoro's fighting, Panda Man's in there. And he's only in the video for that one episode, for episode 1. All the other ones is not Panda Man.
I think this is going to be a challenge of watching One Piece and playing Panda Man a game.
Honestly, you couldn't because there's not enough. But you'll start noticing it. If you ever watch it again, you'll just notice and you go, hang on a minute.
I'm sure.
Fucking Panda Man now.
Well, you've actually sparked me interest to watch the first episode again.
Just watch the intro. It's like see if you spot it, and if you do, post it in like it's right. It's there.
I think that's going to be one challenge that I'm going to go through and watch again, just specifically looking at the background and everything around it, and I'll be going, hang on, who's that?
Make a list of where they all are.
Exactly.
I don't know if there's one in every episode.
Mm-hmm.
But I've definitely seen him a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think, like I said, that sounds like a good game to look back through.
Just a little something for you. Like I thought, I thought I was not the only one going mad now. So.
Well, there is a theory, and it makes me interested going on to it about. Obviously, this is unspoiler warning here. Barry Barrier. Apparently, he's in earlier episodes that you can see. Obviously, when he does his flashback moment when he meets Luffy and why he's obsessed with him, he's apparently in the background.
That's cool.
So I do want to actually go back and look at this because this is an interest. This is one of the things I absolutely love about One Piece is the amount of detail that certain things you don't recognise because they're just in the background. But these backgrounds...
It must only be in Grand Line, though, surely.
That's what I'm thinking, but it does spark my interest to go back through and just see it, because all I've seen is images, and they could be photoshopped, but I doubt it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's easy to do that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Photoshop.
I mean...
But if somebody's done that, that's a bold thing to do. Oh, look, this happens.
Yeah.
But it's so easy to get caught out. It just goes down.
Yeah.
Exactly, and it is so far in the background anyway that you don't really notice it. So it is one of those things that I'm kind of interested to go back and looking to see if you can find that, and just seeing the sheer detail of it. It's like you said, if it is in there, Jenny looking back.
You're wasting my next 2 months here, Sam.
I mean, you're already caught up to Punk Hazard, so you might as well go back through with and try and get Katie involved in it. Be like, I'm watching it.
Oh, she's going to tell me no. Like, she's on Naruto, so that's the no.
I was going to say, I mean, going back, you've still got, obviously, the bear one grows up. They're like, let's get you into One Piece now.
No, that's a plan.
Just out of that, actually, just to say, because I've found out, saying Bairn, a lot of people don't realise that means kid. So if we say Bairn...
aye, it's a child.
It's a northern thing that we're all from the north, so it is one thing that we might say during further episodes as well that you might catch up on and pick up on.
Are we Ben?
Exactly. Going back into what we were going to talk about as well, what do you guys think is the most powerful devil fruit? Now we know that Whitebeard's flower was the most powerful, but one that hasn't been
most
discovered.
Powerful one that we've seen.
I'm thinking generally go for one that we can think up of, because we know that there's a fruit for nearly anything out there. So what do you think would be more powerful, or what do you think has more unique abilities that could render?
I think it's your turn to go first, Sam.
Yeah, I agree with that as well.
One of the things I think of would be water fruit, being able to be either a Logia water type.
Oh, that's a cop-out.
Or be able to control water, because the human body controls 70% water, 80% water. Being able to just like render opponents defenseless, or just be able to just subdue them.
Put a ball of water around any devil fruit user.
Exactly, or just be able to freeze them, so like they're trying to fight you and all of a sudden they can't move, and then you're just walking through and picking up the treasure.
Do that?
He could, but he's freezing you, whereas this person's controlling you from a distance, literally just sat there.
I see what you mean when you say freezing. You mean like restrain, yeah.
Yeah, so you pull the trigger from like one of the Marines' guns, and then they can't move because all the fluids in the body are being just told, like, just restrain them and hold them and tying them down.
Oh, I see. Yeah, controlling the water in their body.
Thinking like
cool.
Avatar, when the blood moon comes out and they can do blood bending. Similar to that, I think that would be overpowered, because imagine that just walking into some city, freezing everyone, stopping everyone from being able to move, fruit or no fruit, and then just stuck. You know what I mean? They can't do anything at all. I think that would be broken. What about Anis? What do you think?
I mean, going on the same sort of thing with the water and everything, obviously time. Anything that allow, like, obviously you do have, is it Bero?
Spoiler.
My bad. Yeah.
Really a spoiler.
He's a filler. But yeah, anything that like allows you to control time in any way, like obviously, like we do have characters that can slow down time. I don't know if I can't remember if there's anyone that can like speed up time. I mean, obviously a lot of people have abilities where it's like blink of an eye and he's over there and that sort of thing, but the actual physical manipulation of time, I think would be extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Yeah, that would be. Because I remember somebody knocking a theory about Shanks might be having that fruit.
Oh,
okay. Because of, spoiler alert, Marineford. He had a showdown with Kaido in the New World. Next day, he's at Marineford.
Yeah.
So that's a theory somebody said, and that,
it does
obviously
make sense.
unproven, but yeah, cool.
Does make sense. The only other thing I would say as well is just on spoiler one, anything pre-time skip, not going to class that as spoiler when we're talking because that's over a year ago. That's over a year ago, guys. So at that point,
it's longer than that.
It's even longer than that. Actually, yeah, you're right. What, about 2 years, 2+ years of
easily
time skips. So
I was going to say for time skip, I think you'd be going probably closer to 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you think about it, how many episodes you can only get maximum 365 episodes a year.
Right. While we're going on the subject of powerful fruits, then, what about the most powerful fruit that we have seen? What do you think is the most powerful one that we think of?
See, for me personally, sorry, I've jumped on that one really quick there. I'm going to say Arcanum's. Just because of what it is. Like, I can see, like, I can think of ways he could use it to counteract the fact that somebody could be on a boat in the middle of the sea, because he can just make lava spew from him. And we all know when lava hits water, it hardens and forms islands.
Yeah.
So, you know, he can just make the lava go in the sea. He can make his own surfaces wherever he wants, and it's lava. Like.
Yeah. What about you, Anis? What do you think?
Oh boy, here we go.
We'll just exclude Whitebeards because it is confirmed to be, but because obviously that's a cop out.
Well, yes and no. It all depends on how you interpret the powers, doesn't it? But it's like, criminy. Like actually thinking of like that now. You stood there going, like, what have I seen? What can I remember? I mean, you've got you've got to go to the generals again, and I can't remember his name, but the guy that uses light,
Kizaru.
Yeah.
Kizaru.
Or Salino.
Yeah. Like that. Like I was going on with the time thing. It's like he has light, so he can literally pretty much travel at the speed of light. Get instantly behind someone. Get like bullets coming towards him. It's just gone. See you later. Don't need to worry about you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to your point as well, when he gets first introduced, he absolutely trashes everybody. We think, oh man, they're strong.
Yeah,
and he doesn't even bat an eyelid.
Yeah,
no, that's it. Although he does have one of the worst voices I've ever heard in my life.
Oh no, I love it. I absolutely
fastest
love
person
it.
having the slowest reactions possible. It just makes so much controversy for his power. But
it's fantastic. I think he's great. He's my favourite, Admiral.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll do like his confidence as well when he talks about things. When he's like, "Oh, do you want me just to take care of this?" And it's like, "That's like, oh, this is a Shibukai or something." He's like, "Yeah, I'll just take care of that. Don't worry about it." He doesn't have like the undercurrents of his power. And like I said, it's just so interesting to see him. But I personally, if we're talking about just the devil fruit, I think, even though it's a bit of a not technically is, but I'd say Norinora fruit, as in terms of slowing down time, is probably most powerful. Just if it was handled by someone more competent, and the fact that imagine that on Shanks's crew, imagine that on Whitebeard's crew, just slowing down the entire navy and the entire army, and then your
somebody
guys
with more strength as well, because he didn't even know Haki.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
it's kind of thing like, so sorry, Sam, carry on.
So like we're talking about just purely the fruit, not the user. Then I would definitely say Norinora, because what happens if Kizaru comes up and he gets slowed? How would that work? Would that actually bring back down to normal speed or slow his speed down? Because I'd assume that's how it would work. And like he has obviously got the Logia
concept.
He does have the Logia's body, but to me, it's going to have that weakness. It's going to have that weakness in overall. And I think that's going to be the situation. If you had a very powerful crew, you hit their entire enemy ship with the Norinora beam. Even if you hit the ship, and the ship's moving slowly, and then the sea's not affected, that ship is going to have so many problems getting capsized because they won't be able to react to it. So it does have a lot of controversial powers. But going on what you said, Tass, I've got a really good point I want to make. Do you think now that Akainu might have made a Marine headquarters secret base with his power if he could make an island?
Possibly, like,
'Cause-
but I don't think that would need his power to do it. I think the fact that he's fleet admiral, he could just do that if he wanted.
Yeah, I absolutely understand that. But in terms of just generally speaking, if he was, let's say there was some kind of controversy or something like that, like he catches a warlord, catches Shibakai, catches someone really of importance, i.e. Is, instead of taking them to Impel Down, which is, obviously had the problems, we could then take him to a secret island that only him and a few generals would know
Yeah, no,
about.
I don't think he would, because Dorothy got sent straight
That is a good
Impel Down.
point. That is a good point.
Crocodile got sent straight to Impel Down, and he's not. Akanu's not about secrecy. Like, the first thing he done when he got made fleet admiral was like, "Yeah, I'm going to the New World. I don't care that the Emperors are there. We're going to be stronger." I don't think he'd go about it secretly. I think if he caught somebody like that as well, he'd be like, "Yeah, we've got them. They're in Impel Down, and you can't take them."
Or like execute them himself because he's not afraid.
Yeah,
of
I think he's got too much ego behind himself to go work in the dark, because he gets annoyed when people go in the dark behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, it's technically his absolute justice, but then again, he has been using shady tactics himself when he confused, Spider from Whitebeard's crew to stab him. You know what I mean? So he isn't about non-shady tactics if it's in the right context of gaining an advantage or gaining that kind of power.
That was in the middle of a war, and that was a tactic to win the war. Yeah, but exactly. I just think for the sake of capturing somebody, I don't think he'd take him somewhere else.
No, it makes sense, but like even
other than taking him straight to Marine headquarters for execution there.
Yeah, but thinking about it in the terms of other controversies, though, it makes sense. But like if he's going
other than taking him straight,
if he goes on about generally we're talking about the New World, when he says he's gone to the New World, do you think there's a chance that he has done that though, made an island or made a base for himself, made a kind of a headquarters in the New World though, with his power? Just to counter argument what you're saying, because
I don't necessarily think it's with his power. It's more likely he's gone somewhere where there was a bunch of pirates already holding up.
He's just
wiped them out and took over it as a display of power.
Makes sense.
If I had to guess, I don't think he'd use his powers to go, "I've made this base over here with my powers, that's our base now."
Yeah, it does make sense. But it's just an interesting thought.
Maybe.
Because
good question. Honestly, I don't know.
Because the reason I'm thinking of it is, imagine that he makes a small island as a tactical advantage to basically use it as a way between two islands to stop off.
It'd be somewhere nobody would be able to find, because it wouldn't be.
There wouldn't be any way to track
even with the new log, even with the new logs you get from,
exactly.
Because you get the 3 logs, don't you, when you go there?
Exactly.
It wouldn't be attuned to it.
So it would make a tactical advantage, but it is a bit of a, how would it work? You know what I mean? Going back to what we were talking about with devil fruits, though, we talked about what we think's the most powerful. What do we think's the worst? Let's look at ones that we know of.
The ones that we know.
Yeah.
Good question.
And we'll go on to what we don't know afterwards. Do it the reverse way.
We know.
I mean, it's one of those daft things. It's like interpretation, but I think Brooks is actually pretty useless. Like, I know he's generally immortal now, but at the same time, it's not really giving him any powers
until he died. Yeah, it was
useless, but it did give him the point that he now can't die. Out of curiosity, do you think his fruit's back in the world since he's still technically dead? Because when they die, it reincarnates them.
No, because it's his soul.
Yeah.
So it's just always curious about like his power, because his fruit.
No, because his fruit must still be activated for him to stay alive.
Yeah. So he's got to physically go and kick the butt again properly.
Yeah.
How you do that?
Which then makes me wonder what would happen if he actually did fall in the sea.
He doesn't breathe, does he? He doesn't have lungs.
Doesn't have lungs. Yeah. But there was a point when he was in. We're talking about when he actually did touch water, he's like, "Oh, I can't move," but he was like not concerned or not panicked. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna drown. Oh no!" But he can't move, but he's not gonna die from that.
So he does lose his ability to sort of function, but he can't physically die.
Yeah,
That's why they've done that thing with him running on the water, though, didn't they? Like, woo!
Yeah.
I'm generally curious though to see if he'd actually gain a resistance if he was to drown in the sea, and then he was there for like 100 years, say, just stuck at the bottom of the sea. Do you think he'd eventually gain?
Now?
Think he'd just well, think about it. Like if he's stuck in the sea for so long, he's going to try and he's going to be drained, but he's going to try and fight at some point. So at some point, I think there'd be some kind of resistance gap where he'd be able to just stand up and walk. He'd struggle, but I think that is a possibility. And that would be like
a long time to wait for that, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. We've also just mentioned that he doesn't have lungs, so he wouldn't drown underwater, but he can still talk.
Yeah. He talks through his soul.
Yeah, he's a weirdo.
Magic.
I mean, he's still got hair after how many years?
I can't remember.
Strong
I can't
roots and all.
remember. I can't remember the program, but it's just like if anything goes wrong, we just say the wizards did it. But what about the wizards?
Yeah, 20 years. I think they said he was dead.
Yeah, so it is an interest. What about your Tass? Worst stealth route you think of that we know of?
Do you know, honestly, I don't like Bellamy's.
Oh,
the spring fruit. Yeah,
I just think it's garbage.
I mean, I think it's how he uses it, because I think he's got more potential. Think about it, if someone punches him, he turns it into a spring and it just springs him back and bounces back. He only uses it for his legs, physically, to boost his strength.
Yeah, I think he spoiler, time skip after, he did use it on his arms as well for his punches. But if he's genuinely a spring man, his body can become spring. There's so much more he could do with it.
Exactly, and being able to absorb attacks and then just reflect them, in my eyes, would be a lot more powerful.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. It's so difficult to answer questions like this because it all comes down to how you use it.
I think I've got the better answer. I think I've got the better answer out of the two of them. Because purely of who has the fruit, we never thought of it. Chopper. Human fruit. Imagine one of us eats that now. Oh, I've just lost the ability to I've lost the ability to swim.
I've just lost the ability to swim.
And I get no advantages. What am I going to do? Turn myself into another human?
Yeah.
But then again, I suppose he's got his points, hasn't he? Brain point.
But that's
you could do with that.
True. I mean,
I'm joking.
I need a brain to do that, to be honest with you. So.
That's a very good answer. That because.
That is a good answer.
I
agree.
Because, like I said, it's one of the main crews, so we don't normally think about it. But when I was thinking that question, I was like, well, obviously the worst one would be is having something that you already have. It's literally
only good. It's only good for him.
Yeah.
Exactly. And again, this is going back to what we're saying is how you practically use it. Any fruit could be good, but that one I don't see as any good to any of us.
I think I'm going to concede to you on that one, Sam. Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
Just need a point counter now.
As I say, that whole thing of you think about all of the people that you've seen, all of the fruits and the abilities and everything, and
so
then
many.
Exactly.
And then suddenly it's like, oh yeah, why didn't I think about that?
Going back to what we were saying about most devil fruits, worst devil fruit, we were going on about what we know of. What do you think, obviously, what we don't know about, so we're excluding Chopper's fruit, we're excluding the ones we know about. What do you think the worst fruit you could have is?
I did actually think of something earlier, and it's completely lost my mind. But...
The ability to ungrow hair.
Good point.
How shit would that be?
A bald fruit.
You know what? It's really good because without hair, I've got no water resistance. Oh shit! I can't swim.
They might be able to run Brook on water with that water resistance, though, the air resistance.
No, because it's the weight of the body.
The
only reason Brook would because he's got no weight.
So
yeah, that's true.
And it's
hair doesn't weigh an awful lot, mate.
I know. Depends how much you have.
That is That was a good shout. Very good shout. The one that I actually did remember what it was. It was I called it the alky fruit.
Mhm.
So basically, you're just in a constant state of inebriation.
I mean, is that a bad thing? Yeah, not a bad thing. I mean, if you learn drunk kung fu, though, drunk kung fu.
There is drunk kung fu, but then it's only going on your reflexes and your strength.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
there's
not much.
I didn't mean to laugh that much there. Sorry.
All right. I was laughing at myself. So.
I mean, I think the worst fruit I can think of is being a fish fruit, like a generic fish, like a salmon or a tuna, because not only are you useless if you get touched by water, you can breathe underwater and die by, starving to death at the bottom of the sea, slowly, but you can't swim, as far as we know of any fruit that we know of that has. There is no fruit that's fishman related that we know of, do we? Other than fishermen eating fruit. So that to me would be like oh yes, I can transform into a fish. Really brilliant. You can breathe underwater. But I can't swim. What spoiler? We don't know any fruits that are fish. So, hey, no spoilers. We're talking.
I'll talk about this. I'll talk about this at the end.
But yeah, because like I said, that generally to me is just well, you're screwed basically. If you get touched by water, you're just going to stand there and just die, or even flop there and die. That's my logic.
That, like Goldeen when that gets summoned in Pokemon, he's like,
just turn into Magikarp. What can you do? Splash.
Yeah, and you wouldn't be able to transform on land because you wouldn't be able to breathe.
Exactly, but. The good news is if you're with a crew and you're dying of starvation, don't worry. They can sacrifice you for tuna meat. That's the most you should get out of it.
Yeah.
It's not technically cannibalism.
Yeah, your sacrifice won't be in vain. Thank you for
tuna fruit. Sanji, you just marry you for I'll just have the tuna.
This is
dear wept. Gotta be a fish.
This is literally going on to the next question we did have, is about water resistant devil fruits. Do you think there is a possibility that there is a devil fruit out there, which, like I said, mine was water? Do you think they're resistant to water, but they've got another weakness altogether because of their specific domain?
Well, I think there will be one out there that's resistant to water, but will still be affected by sea stone.
Yeah, I think that as well. But I do think that, imagine having a fish fruit, and then being not having any problems with water, but as soon as you hit the land, that's when you struggle and you lose your energy, or something like that. Just like
you just stay in the water and win, wouldn't you?
Exactly. So that would give you a power, but then you might as well just be a fishman. That's it.
Yeah.
Fishermen cry, and they can go on land as well.
Thank you for supporting Goku726.
Thank you very much for the follow, buddy. Really appreciate it.
You know what it'd remind me of? You remember that thing in Family Guy where the woman's getting mugged on the beach and Aquaman's in the sea going, "Oh, it's a good job you're over there, otherwise you'd be in trouble."
Come in the water and say that.
Throws a starfish at him like that. Oh, what a gammon.
I know when we were talking about this, because we talked about whether it was like inshore or outer shore, but I always said that I always thought spoilers for this, but the barrier fruit. I always thought was certainly against the water could actually be a very, very powerful devil fruit, because obviously he can put a barrier around. If he's falling into the water, he can very instantly put a barrier around himself, which then stops him from touching any storm or any
I could imagine him falling into a sea, making a ball, and then just pretending it's a hamster wheel and just rolling all the way back to land. That would just be.
Yes.
Oh mate, I'm gonna make that.
That's actually very. That's
please,
actually. That's a very good point.
If anyone's watching this, please make that into a meme.
On top of the water, oh my dear lord, yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Yeah, because
we have link.
Barry would be airtight. Yeah.
We have Link. We're not talking about spoilers, manga stuff until the end when we're talking about spoilers. But yes, we have read the latest chapter today. Yesterday. We've all read it.
1001.
Yeah, 1001. So we are going
You
to
read
talk
that,
about
Anis,
that later.
yeah.
I have, yes.
Yeah. I messaged both of you and I was like, "It's out! It's out!"
I know. I was actually literally just started reading it when you messaged
Yeah,
me that.
ditto. Like, I just finished my morning bit of work and I went online. So I go on the morning. The first thing I do when I go on a PC is check it.
Alright.
And as I opened that and checked my page, see if it was out, I got a message off Sam on Facebook at the same time, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not looking."
The amount of times, because I have an app on my phone which it does come out, but it's normally 2 days later. So he's like, "Oh my god, it's out! It's out! It's out!" It's like, "All right, I'll get back to you in 2 or 3 days."
Yeah.
It's like, leave me be, please.
I know. I'm only like, it comes in on a Sunday, I'm like, "So Anis, have you read the manga?" "No, it's not. I haven't read it yet." It'd be like Tuesday, I'd be like, "Oh my god, I read it." And that was 1,000. That was 1,000 you did that to me. And I was like, every single day, Anis, read it. Please. I need someone to talk to. And me and Tass have already talked about it again.
Yeah.
So it is one of those things I got really hyped about. Just for Link in the chat as well, we're talking about what's the worst possible fruit, devil fruit, that we know and don't know about. Feel free to jump in, tell us what you think in the chat as well, and which one you think is the worst fruits you can think of. But water resistant, going back to like what we were saying about water resistant fruits, just having something like a fish fruit, or like kind of a fishman fruit, for example, becoming a fishman human hybrid or a giant fishman, you know what I mean, something like that. And not
Foxy
being
had
able
a
to use
giant
one.
fishman, didn't he?
He did. But like, imagine not being able to be in the water at that point, and not be able to use your power. I think there's got to be something out there where a fruit that's specifically used for water will have the effect that it'll have that, but it'll be weak. The sea prism, still physical sea prism, but it'll have some other kind of weakness.
Yeah, well, the only thing we've seen, something like Aokiji, like, he was a geezer, wasn't he? The first time you see him just riding his bike.
Yeah, in the sea.
On the sea, and you're like...
But this is the thing, the admirals are all quite strong. Well, I'd say the 2 of the admirals are just water resistant anyway. Like, think about it like both Aokiji, I can't even say his name. Aokiji and Akainu both got hit into the water. Both of them just came out unscathed. We're not affected.
It would, yeah. I think that, yeah.
Like, even Aokiji just put his finger in the water and went freeze and just did a massive freeze and said, "Oh, that's going to freeze for 3 days. You can walk to the other island across there and you're fine."
Yeah.
And that's him.
Yeah, because he froze it. Yeah, like he froze it in a second, didn't he, as well?
Exactly, and he was physically touching it. So he's like, this comes back to me thinking that there are fruits there that are strong against water, and like the seawater, which has the sea prism in it.
Yeah, but dude, even at Marineford, when Whitebeard sent the tsunami at him, all he done was jump up and do that.
He's like, "Stand back, guys! I got this! I got this!"
But, oh no, the tsunami's going to beat everybody.
Yeah, there we go, it's gone.
A bullshit power, but a bubble fruit would be pretty useless. Like, normal bubbles are super protective, helpful protective bubbles. Screw that. So bubble fruit would be worse. That's
like the dippy bubbles, like the ones like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is... I mean, again, that could
like them ones at Sabori.
Yeah. Not the Sabori ones there. But again, it depends how you use it, because that could be useful in some ways, like being able to like control it with Haki. Just put a Haki shield around people. You know what I mean?
No, but it's just like,
but dude, it's still a bubble. It's still a bubble.
Aye. Going back over what we said, with what we thought the worst power is, because you've just joined us, Link. Anis, what were you saying your worst power was originally?
My worst power was that? Did we say that?
The made up one.
Shiny black powers. Yeah, the worst made up one we can think of.
Made up one. It was. I don't even bloody remember now. I know. I mentioned in show.
Oh, alco fruit.
That was it. Yeah, alky fruit. So you'd stay in a constant form of inebriation.
Yeah. Aye. And what was your other one when you're saying the worst devil fruit that we know of as well?
That we know of. I actually said that it was Brooks.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought like the idea of it's just that, like, yes, he's immortal, but he's not really got any power.
I've just read the chat. He just turned around and said that he's so bad you forgot about it. So that's how it is.
That's how bad it was.
Hi, Lewis. What about yours, Tass? What were you up to?
My made up one was the ability to ungrow your own hair.
Mm-hmm. Which I think you've beat us both on.
Yeah.
What you're going to do? It's shite, isn't it?
Exactly. What you're going to do, turn all your hair into whips and fucking, that's it.
Yeah, no, you can't. You just ungrow it, that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't come off. It just goes back into your body.
Done.
And then your other fruit was Bellamy?
It wasn't so much as like, I don't know if it's worst, because I can't say worst, because somebody, it could be used. I just hate Bellamy's.
Mm-hmm. Bellamy's
Banny, no me. Oh, I just hate it. It just spring pisses me off. I don't even have a spring mattress anymore.
Just got rid of that altogether. Like, sorry, Bellamy.
Yeah, it's like, come on, guy, we're all a memory foam now.
Exactly.
Fuck springs, man. You burn it a bonfire night, 4 days cleaning the springs up.
I'm generally curious how to make any of these actually effective, because, like I said, Bellamy does have a fruit that he's not using effectively, like we said.
Oh yeah,
like
it could be used very effectively.
My two, like I said, from our common knowledge, is because we're not talking about mango or spoilers there, Lewis, as well. Sorry, we're talking about like fish fruits. If you're a fish, like a tuna, the only use you're going to be is if you're in the desert, your whole crew's then dying. You're going to be the first one to be sacrificed for meat. I want to save the rest of your crew. That's the only logical thing we can think of. If you try using your fruit, you're dead. Like I said, you just float in the water and die. Would you even float or sink?
Well, that's a good point, because fish die and they go up.
Exactly.
Yeah, they float upside down. But he's not
technically
dead. Yeah, he's not dead. He's just weakened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'd just be like as you say, like a Magikarp. He'd just just
yeah, because that's the thing.
Bobbing in water.
Because you always see them sinking, don't you?
Yeah.
Because they say it turns you into a hammer in the water.
Exactly. And Lewis just put a point in there saying a standard fish eating a devil fruit is just quite literally dead weight in the water. It's literally, I agree. Same with the fishman. I mean,
that'd be a cruel trick, wouldn't it? Imagine that going to like the park in a pond and just like getting a devil fruit going. And then watching this carp come like that home.
And then just
and then
shit,
being able
to do now?
Being able to like sit there and just be like dead weight in the water and not be able to do anything about it.
It's a new form of illegal fishing. Instead of throwing dynamite, you just throw a devil fruit. Just away.
It's coming right for us.
I'm just going to throw that out now. That's probably one of Vegapunk's experiments, because I could just imagine him doing that as an experiment, saying, I wonder if I can get this to work. Having a pond of fish, just be like, eat these devil fruits.
Yeah, you could do it. You could do it in a controlled environment where if it thinks you just go, there it is. And
like I said, you're literally then just going to be sat there internally screaming to death because you can't do anything or move. Didn't that happen to Jack from Kaido's crew? His fruits, he has a fruit, but he was just waited in the water to be rescued in the ocean. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much exactly that. So
exactly that.
Literally, like you said, you're internally screaming. Yeah, technically, would. Still over a year ago, isn't it? Since that happened, we're saying. I'm sure that's over a year.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, over a year.
I think that's pretty much fine, but yeah.
You're changing the rules, you.
I mean, let's think here. Like, we're in 1-0. We've had Cake Island. We've had then before that, obviously, lots before that. So
let's just say 1-0's a cut off.
Yeah, go with 1-0 the cut off, because obviously that's still ongoing.
Yeah. Link, I was just going to say, Link, our original plan was we were going to say up to the time, skip his like free reign. Do whatever, say whatever you say.
But Sam thought that was only a year ago.
Yeah, that is 1-0 cut off. Fine. Yeah, because obviously there is so many things we can talk about, and if we do, we'll get on the topic of getting hyped, and then we'll talk about manga without warning. So
at least up to 1-0, it's easy. Like I think that's easy.
Absolutely.
As I say.
And going off the two fruits that I chose was the worst fruit I could think of is the fish. Again, you just sat there just waiting for death. And then the other fruit I thought of is the worst one that we know of is choppers. Think about it. If any of us eat it, we've literally just lost the ability to swim. So that's the worst one in the series you can think of. Exactly.
Yeah.
If a fish ate it, if another creature ate it, then brilliant. Then you now have a ability to become human. But
What was Chopper? Sorry, just thinking actually on that. What was Chopper's 3 original things? Because the Rumble Ball gives him extra abilities, doesn't it? But he had
Yeah,
the
he
human
had
fruit.
the little tiny form,
Yeah,
normal reindeer form,
yeah.
and then he had this.
and then
normal...
what is equivalently what he calls heavy point, the big gorilla form.
Yeah, that's his normal
Right,
points.
And then when he takes a Rumble Ball, he could have guard point, horn point, jumping point, arm point, and brain point.
Yeah. And then he had the massive one if he took a
Monster
second
format, monster format,
form.
3 Rumble Balls,
After
which you can now control with 1.
Exactly.
So if you did eat the human fruit, you would gain. Sorry, what was it again? You'd
3.
gain
3 forms. You normally get
3.
your human form, your deer form, and then a halfway between the 2.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd have your normal. So basically, you'd just be able to.
You'd have a human.
You'd have 2 different ice forms.
You
I
could-
know
you
what
could-
you're
you
thinking, Taz. I know what you're thinking. No.
I did not know that. Lewis has actually put in a good question for us in the chat. Order actually has confirmed in SBS that the human eating a human fruit would become enlightened. So what kind of bullshit is that? You just sit there and you'd be like, "Oh, I know, I am now enlightened."
So he becomes a Buddhist.
Exactly.
Yeah. So he goes, "Yay!
Yeah.
Yay, child! I found enlightenment. What do I do now?"
Exactly. It's one of those things you think, what the hell's going to happen?
I mean, enlightened probably means like.
Mhm.
It probably doesn't mean enlightened as like, oh yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Intelligence, like it'll probably
Yeah.
give you the limit of human intelligence.
Yeah, like brain point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of
yeah,
Be interesting to see if that's would be smarter than Vegapunk then.
yeah. A small point must be brain point.
Yeah. Because that'd
I've
be
just sat and worked it out. I've just sat and thought about it there. He's got the small version, the normal reindeer,
Yeah.
and he's got his heavy point where he's a big one,
Yeah.
and he's got horn point where he's got his horns,
Small
obviously,
chopper
and he's
is
got
brain,
jumping
yeah.
point where he gets the bigger legs,
Yeah.
and he's got arm point, which is where he gets the big arms to do his cocktail Rosio, and
Yeah.
he's got guard point.
And small point,
And that-
small chopper is brain point, by the way, brain.
Small chopper, it
Small
must be
chopper is
brain point,
brain.
yeah, because I didn't see him use brain point until he used a rumble ball. But that
It might
if brain
just be-
point was different, it would be his 8th point because he's only got it's already 7.
Yeah. To be fair, Kung Fu karate point as well. Don't forget that one. Lewis
Yeah, but
just
that's
popped that
post
up.
time skip.
Yeah. But do you think go on actually on this because we're going to go a little off topic? But do you think Chopper has more points, or do you think he has more powers that he's letting on?
Oh, he must have because
He's trained
he
for 2
turned
years.
up a kung fu point out of nowhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
he's
he's definitely got ball.
And then he's gone and got obviously his 3 rumble ball point after 1. What do you think he'll do now when he eats 3? Do you think he'll have another monster point or another kind of power point? Like without sounding very Excel.
Yeah, look at this graph.
Sorry,
Sorry, I had to get that
Yeah,
one
no,
in.
good question.
I hope he has more versions of Monster Point. Yeah, I would love to see
Yeah.
other versions. Like he's got these 7 like 7 or 8 different points now when he eats them. Do you think that
Yeah,
he can
and
do them on base form? And
Fusing
now
them
he's...
with monster point, so like monster point with arm point, so
Yeah.
he's got stronger punches.
Yeah.
That would be
that'd
interesting
be really
to see.
fucking cool, wouldn't it?
But he's only able
I
to do
saw-
it off 3 rumble balls, I think. That would be the interesting one.
Yeah.
Where he gets a new kind of version of monster. That would be interesting to see. And there is a high possibility.
The only other thing I can think of is obviously he's constantly, you always see him with like a pestle and mortar. He's always working on something. He's always working on like antidotes for something, or he's working on this, or he's working on that. I think at some point he might bring out a new version of the Rumble Ball.
That's what I
And
was
then it's,
thinking. Yeah.
And then it's going to be like either it's going to strengthen the abilities that he's already got, or it's going to give him new abilities.
Okay. I'm going to say pun intended, but that's a good point. Just
Aha.
But I'd love to see like another version because again the thing is with
Imagine if it was just a permanent one, like
Oh,
you
is
got
this?
it was a one-time use, and that's it. I can do all my points forever.
yeah.
Yeah.
It- I think like that would
Sorry.
be an interesting one, but I think that would be for his base forms. For his advanced one, the monster point, I think they should be ones that he'd have to use a rumble ball on. because they do damage his body, and it does do something to him that makes him unable to move. So to do that,
but it's the drug itself, isn't it? I think.
Yeah, that would be the thing that I would think of. Like, like with that Super Bowl, he'd bring it out, but it would have like a major limitation. Like he'd be out the game for like a week or something.
When we first see Luffy with his gear second, gear third, obviously does that. Gear second takes away a lot of fatigue and a lot of his life force. It would be interesting, but I'm just going on it and thinking, if devil fruits are real in this world, what fruit, and if you had a database, like a book, encyclopedia of all devil fruits, what fruit would you be most likely wanting to go for? I'll repeat that because Lewis is just light fruit.
Oh, I just want to be fast.
True.
Like, I always say it, like when people say to me, "What superpower would you want?" I'd want speed. Just poof away.
So, I'd like space and time. To be honest with you, being able to just stop time, be able to go somewhere instantly. Thinking Hero from Heroes, like his power, just being able to go to any point in time, past, present, future. If I did, I'd go to the end of One Piece and watch all the episodes. Problem solved. Be able to come back.
Mine was always flight. So
yeah, flight's cool.
Yeah,
anything that would give me the ability to fly. But at the same time, like thinking about One Piece style, like people like Sanji basically learns to fly anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. Without a fruit, yeah.
That's actually said. But like I said, flight would be a good one. So we've pretty much gone down different avenues. You've gone down the flight route, I've gone through the time and space, and you've gone down the speed. And all, you know what? Ironically, is out of all of those is we've all just got it for utility purposes more than anything else. Like, you've literally gone it for flying around, you've gone it for the speed and getting anywhere where you want, and I've done the exact same thing, but anywhere and any time as well. So it
convenient. You know what? That's just reflectiveness as our times. Not what could I do with it. I can get to work quicker.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking, oh my god, we've got.
I mean, if I was light and had super speed like that, I wouldn't be working anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had the fruit I had, I'd put the lottery on when it's on 150 odd million. Literally just be like, all right, I'm just going to put these numbers on, guarantee it. I'll be like, hey, Tass, these are your numbers for the following week. You can win whatever numbers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'll have the big one. You can have the one after when there's an out left. Thanks, mate.
Hey, I don't mean that. I'd wait until it was a big one again.
Wouldn't come back and share. No, you can have the next one. I'll have the big one.
I'm having the 150 million. You're having the 14.
Yeah, you can have the 50 million. There you go. I mean, if you don't want the 50 million, I'll give it to Anis. Well, Anis.
I know. I'll happily take that. Thank you very much.
It's all right. Tass has decided that he doesn't need me to give him the lottery numbers now if I win the.
No, I'll just run to your house and grab you.
Put it. It's all right. Stop time and just walk out the way.
You wouldn't see me coming. You're not fast enough. Maybe I'll freeze time, but you don't know when I'm going to be there.
Turn back time.
Brave light. I'll wait until you turn the light switch on. And then be like, oh, same time. So.
I could just imagine you just using it as jump scares, just going, no, but I am with jump scares as well. I'd just probably shit myself and jump 10 years in the future. Alright.
Yeah, land in somebody's bathtub.
Alright. Like, what are you doing here? This is my house. No, it hasn't for 10 years.
Easy for you then. So if you were doing that, would you have to? If you transported into the future, would you just stay in the spot you are now? Exactly on this plane of the Earth, but just in 10 years' time.
No, I think it would be like if I went in the future, because obviously the world rotates. If I went, let's say, half a year into the future, then I think I'd stay in the exact same point in time, and then the world would move, and then I'd land where it was. But obviously with having the space time.
So if you landed right in the middle of the ocean.
But this is what I was saying, having the use of space transport as well as time, being able to then control space as well as time. I could then go, right, I want to be here in 6 months' time instead of where I would be in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. The realisation of what a cop
what if in them 6 months of you moving forward, that place got burned down?
I'd be able to see it because of my power. I'd be able to see into the future.
As I was going to say,
space and time control.
The ability to control time is the like that's the power, or the ability to control space is the power where you've got to learn it. The
Mhm.
ability to control space and time is a cop out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We
It's
know that
cheap.
someone can use two fruits, and so
Yeah.
it's a possibility I could have both. Just saying. And worst case scenario is I could always just sit in a
So
box.
you'd use the time fruit, get that, and then go back in time before you had the time fruit and eat the space fruit, but you'd still have the time fruit because when you go back in time, you'd have them both when you go back forward.
That's hurting my brain, but pretty much yes.
Yeah.
Right. I'll just go forward in time for so many 20 odd years, so I know what the end of One Piece is and how it works.
So
with
would you not
Blackbeard.
age if you went forward? Would you stay the same age?
Yeah, because I'm only going
If you went forward 20 years.
I'm going forward in time in my current self. So I'm taking this physical vessel in my body into the future.
Oh, we need a physicist for this conversation, right?
Yeah,
Alright.
I think we need to move on from this one because this is opening a whole can of worms.
It's interesting to figure out, though, isn't it? We'll go on to that one a little
Yeah,
bit
and I'm
more
running
detail.
short on time as well, guys. So
Pun intended.
Ah,
But what we'll go on to the last 2 points we had anyway, is going on to filler arcs. We were talking about what our favourite filler arcs, and when Lewis pops back, I'll ask him what fruit he would want as well, and go back into this as well. But what is been your favourite filler arc in One Piece?
hands down, Navarone, G8, just after Sky Island.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing compares to it. It's great.
Mm-hmm. I have to agree with you on that.
That's my answer.
I agree. Anis, yeah, no, nice, good thinking he's going through. He's going through.
I was talking about space and time being a cop out. I may have to cop out with that one as well because I just can't remember any of them.
Oh, don't come out. It's terrible. It's the best.
Yeah.
Aye.
I mean, like as I say, like it's just filler arcs. Like I can't honestly think. Everything that I'm thinking of is just it's an arc. It's just what happens. It's not. I can't think of filler.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
I bet you could if it was Bleach.
Yeah.
Oh yes, right. Sorry, I need to say this. I stopped watching Bleach after episode 100. And if anyone does know what that episode is, and if they don't know what it is, the birthday cake episode.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like I literally that one came up and I was like, that's it, done.
I mean, if we're gonna go for Bleach, the best one is when the Zanpakutos actually came into reality.
We're not talking about Bleach. This is the One Piece podcast.
Yeah, that's why I just needed to get that out of the way.
We'll do a Bleach one another time in the future if we fancy it.
No,
definitely not.
No,
probably do it. But yeah, I agree with 8. I agree with that base. But what I like most is seeing the actual Marine admirals in that, in the Marine Forward guards in that.
Yeah.
Like the strategist in the Marine Forward War.
When he turned up the cat, yeah.
So like
that was a good, it was a good little nod that because he didn't need to be at the Marineford War because he wasn't in the story. It was just something he added in the anime, and he just turned up like, oh.
But I generally, if I were going to say it again, before you said that one, I was thinking pretty much Foxy's arc, like his first one. And it's
Foxy
not really
was canon, though, mate.
He is, but he's not like his full arc around him is not canon. Like it doesn't go into the proper detail. So like not meeting him, but like the actual kind of the games. Like the only I did like when Zoro and Sanji were fighting each other and then just took down the giant together.
Yeah.
When they're fighting, instead of they're fighting each other and they're just like just knocks out the giant in the middle.
You're in the way, bang.
But the rest of it, like I said, it's just the whole concept of going for so long. And then the second one, they did like a second version of it, and I'm like, really?
I hated Foxy.
Mm-hmm. Like he has such a powerful power, but it's just on such a really horrible person who can't use it, and that's what I think was the big shame.
Still, it's not my most hated One Piece villain, but that's for another day.
That's actually what we're going to go on to as well. Just going on to which one.
Oh, is that what we're next? All right, got Hardy.
Hardy, yeah.
Hardy Jones, Fishman Island. I just hated. Oh, he's got beat. I've just took some more pills. I'm better again. Yeah. Every time, like how many times do you need to beat somebody and he just takes pills and gets better?
If Chopper did that, he'd just be down to
I was just like, at a certain point, I was thinking, I'm not invested in him as a villain anymore.
Nah, like once or twice.
What's the point in showcasing his hacky? Yeah, it was supposed to be shown, oh, Luffy can do this, he can do that, he's got all these other hackies, and then all of a sudden, he's hitting this guy with all his hacky, and he's just having a tablet in his bed, like...
Just asking for Lewis, because he's just popped back now. What is, if you could choose any devil fruit in the world, if you had archive, what would you want to have? And what is your favourite filler and most hated arc? What do you think it is? And while we're doing that, Anis, what's your favourite arc?
My favourite arc.
Oh, sorry, worst arc. So you start with that one first, and we'll move on to favourite arcs after.
My worst arc. I had it in my head there. It was because we were on about villains there, weren't we? And it was Chopper. Like, it's not so much that it's the worst, but going on with the villain, it was Choppers. Like
Wapol, yeah.
Wapol. He was just sort of like, who's this guy? Like, wow, he can eat things,
eat stuff.
Yeah,
it's really weird fruit. I mean, yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with Hardy. I didn't like Hardy one bit, but I think if I'm going back to what I hate the most, like villain wise, I think it's obviously when we first meet Luffy episode 1, and then we see her again, you know, and she's got the slip fruit.
Yes.
Alvida. Like, when we see her again, I'm like, God, she's back, really? Like, she wasn't a compelling villain in my opinion. She was one that but
it was. I think the only thing I did like about that is they didn't just bring her back the same as she was.
Yeah, it was interesting.
It was like, now she's got a devil fruit. She's different again.
Yeah.
But that's kind of getting on to the whole story of like the useless devil fruit, because her devil fruit just made her skinny.
Did nothing for her.
She
didn't give her any powers. She just slimmed down.
No, it did give her powers. It was slip fruit, so she could use she could roll on pretty much slip around.
Yeah, but then Smoker turned up and just was like, "Oh, I got you."
Yeah, but obviously that's Logia versus anyone else. Favorite filler arc G8. You're in agreement with all of us on that one. Favorite canon arc. Yeah, we're going by worst arc. Non-favorite arc as well. So like the worst arc you've had that's non-filler as well as favorite. We're going to move on now to favorite arc as well. That is canon. So I honestly don't like
Lobby.
Ennis Lobby. Anis?
Impel Down.
Impel Down. So
Impel
why?
Down. It was that sort of first realization of just how strong Luffy could be. Like his determination to want to help his friends, his determination to want to become the Pirate King, and everything. It just like I am poisoned. I have been super poisoned, but I am going to help my friends.
I put my body through hell. Yeah. Literally.
Super poisoned. Amazing.
I do.
It's the best way to put it, because he was like, "Oh no, I'm poisoned. I might as well go whole hog now."
Yeah.
Alright, Tass, Ennis Lobby. You've also got Lewis, who's also agreeing with you on Ennis Lobby, but why is it your favourite arc as well then?
Pretty much for very similar reasons that Ennis has just said. It was the standout point at which he showed the length he would go to help the people he cares about. Like, you know, it was the first, like, we'd already seen what he was like because we've seen it with Arlong and we've seen it with Vivian Alabasta.
Yeah.
But that was just fighting one person, one crew.
Yeah.
This time it was like, this is the world. Like, we are the world government. And he was like,
Yeah.
See you later.
Care.
I don't care.
I'll go against.
I don't care how many of you's there, how big you are. You've got my friend. I'm coming for you.
Exactly.
And to me, it was just absolutely perfect.
I agree with both of you on those points, but I am going to have to go with Marineford for me. And it's because a little bit personal on top of that is just finally getting there, fighting all these big giants, and it's like Whitebeard says it best. He's like a fish in a pond. Like you said, he's literally he's a nobody in that war, but his determination to even stand up to Whitebeard, the world's strongest
from the get-go,
and just say, I will be Pirate King, and then runs at them, not a care in the world. He even gets further Ironcarves just boosting his power so you can fight it. Even standing up to the 3 Marines and just stand in front of him. He says you're too early for it, and he still does it, and he gets past them all. Finally gets there. And the bit that always gets me is obviously what happens to Ace. Because to me, I have lost a really good friend of mine, who I class as a brother.
Right. You can't say that got you, because I've seen you do that exact cosplay with a hole in your chest.
You know what? I will get. That was the whole motivation behind it, and I'll go into that in a second for you. But like, I have lost someone really close to me who I class as a brother when I was younger, when I was 17, and to me, when I saw that happen, that actually broke me, and it brought back like feelings that I, kind of, lost at the same time.
Now I feel like a dick for making that previous comment about the hole in your chest.
So yeah, put egg on your face.
Thanks,
so
man.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But like that's why when I saw Ace, I really want to cosplay and I really want to do that justice. And my brother James, like he's in the chat at the moment, just sat there probably lurking because he doesn't have watch One Piece. He helped us make it. He actually helped make that, and he did a fucking amazing job at helping us with it, and it was amazing. To the point where that's probably been my favourite cosplay ever, and I'm actually really proud of it. And I'd love to do that again sometime, but it's not going to happen.
I'll be a Kano if you do, dude.
You just want to kill us, that's all you want to do for that comment.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, that's the whole reason why I love that arc the most, and that to me is seeing him hit rock bottom, and then just the final part of that act when he finally realises that he hasn't hit rock bottom and he still has something to fight for and survive. That to me was like kind of the pinnacle moment where that something shit's going to go down in the future, and that he's going to get to Whitebeard's level. He's going to get past Whitebeard's level. And obviously we've seen that when we've gone past the time skip, and we're seeing that constantly, and I'm looking forward to seeing further. So I'll just read what Lewis said. First time shit hit the fan was when the crew and seeing everyone show their characters' growth was amazing. Robin is my queen. Yeah, I agree. Ennis Lobby, brilliant arc when everyone kind of grows as a character. They all fight and they all have the same purpose. But to me,
it's the first step. It's the first time they all take that extra step in leveling up the powers.
And I mean,
shows Sanji gets his Diablo Jambler, Zoro gets Ashura, Luffy gear second, gear third.
You see Usopp shoot people from across the map, like just constantly from the top of the tower. 100% accuracy when it's supposed to be impossible. You see him showing all that skill without hacking.
Frankie's costume's gold in it.
And all the different. But I tell you what, going on this note as well, there's one other piece I want to ask you. What's your favourite scene other than that then in One Piece? Because there is a close second for me. Go on then.
That's it.
Yeah, we can't see your hand
on my arm there.
We can't see your hand.
Alabaster.
Yeah. I've got to admit that is a good one, but to me, it's got to be when Kuma shows up. And Kuma, like, they've just fought Moria, done an absolute tense battle, Luffy's out for the count, and then the point when Kuma says, I will spare you all, if you let me take Luffy and kill him. And without a second hesitation, everyone just ran at him to attack him, even though they knew they had no chance. They did not give up on their captain. And that shows how much strong he has as a crew, how much deep respect he has on him, and that crew will never betray him. But above all else is the moment when Zoro does it. He sacrifices his life and sacrifices everything just to protect Luffy, even goes as far as saying that I'd take my head instead. And he takes it all on. And just the words, nothing happens in the Japanese dub. Like that to me, when he's shaking in pain, he does that voice.
Yeah.
That on
blood
par
everywhere.
That on par is like Detroit Smash when All Might does it for the final time as well. That fucking
that was also there. That was awesome.
Yes, we need Ashura explain. That is one thing I genuinely want to know. And do you think
I think we're going to see more of Ashura soon?
But
we can't.
We don't know because it's all spoiler territory, and we actually don't. Like I said, we're not going to go there anyway. And, well, we're actually going to talk about manga in a second anyway.
Yeah, it's wrap up time, isn't it?
Yeah. Like I said, Ashura, I want to see more about this because obviously it is a power from demon. Sanji's got a power of a demon from Diablo Leg. So do you think there's that actually was the third point I forgot about when we were saying, do you think there's another power in the world where people can? You've got Ashura, you've got these demon powers. Do you think these are actual physical powers that can be manifested? like I said, and have.
Well, they already have been.
Yeah. So do you
So,
think
yeah.
do you think it's just a generic thing that they've got as a crew, or do you think that other things?
No, I don't think it's anything to do with the crew.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a good question. I think I'd have to think about it and talk about it more in detail when we've got more time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
It's
We'll start that off next week.
Start
Mark
off.
that down for next week's conversation start because
Will do.
I think we could come up with a nice little bit of conversation on that.
Yeah, I'll just send that to you now, Ashura Power, next week.
Welcome to Goku 726's stream.
Thank you very much for that, Lewis, as well, for the post as well, pal. Yeah, I think that is a good thing that we're going to have to look into and see about it, and I think that'll be a good one for next week.
So
to start.
the powers of non-devil fruit users.
Yeah, so we've got Ashura. So Ashura's a power, Ashura's a power. Diablo's leg, that's a devil power. Devils, angels, do you think there's powers of those and other deities that people could actually physically use? That would be something really interesting to see if that's a possibility, but we will wrap this up here. So thank you very much, Lewis, for popping in. Anyone else who's been watching, I really appreciate you all coming in. Thank you very much.
It's really good having other people involved as well because it's just
Yeah. Like we can talk about what we want, but it's always nice to have the people in chat that can turn around. Well, what about this? Is that
exactly?
Yeah, extra little bits, extra little pointers.
Exactly, and it is one of those
even asking us extra questions on what we mean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I think it is an interesting point, and like I said, it is one of those things that it would be interesting to see more bit detail on, and more explanation in the future for. So we'll wrap it up here. We won't do the manga section spoiler one today, but what we'll do is we'll go through next week and do that as next week. Talk about the last 10 or so chapters.
When we've got a bit more time.
Yeah. So I'm going to end this here. I am going to go find someone who's actually playing One Piece just to give them a host over, because I think that's kind of something we should do on a weekly basis as well.
And thank everybody for watching.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And when we get the channels up and going, subscribe, like, and get us out there. Thank you very, very kindly.
No worries.
Plug.
I'll catch you in the next one.
And I hope you've enjoyed us rambling.
Yeah.
Mainly Sam, though.
Yeah, I was going to say mainly.
I'm joshing.